Hello, and welcome back to Skylines. My name's Sparky, and we are back here in the city of Baltimoray in the west coast of Scotland. The last episode here we started the wee fishing industry. Obviously it's kind of incomplete right now, and we also added a few schools and whatnot and extended our grid a wee bit, but today I want to focus on this area here where we started our fishing industry, and I think we're going to create some more residential and add in a sort of business slash industrial park for our fishing industry for the most part, but we might squeeze in some city services and recycling, that kind of thing in as well, but we'll see as it grows. So we've got quite a big space here in between, the highway, the rail line, and our already built up area, so we've got quite a big area to work with here. But I just want to flatten it out a wee bit here for our business park slash industrial park. So flattened out an area, I'm just going to extend the grid up a wee bit. And height of realism, we're going to move over our fish factories. The small area I created last time was really just I didn't really know where I was going at the time with it. I just wanted to get my fishing industry up and running, actually functioning. And now we're actually going to build out an area, and yeah, we're just extending my grid over here. We're going to have our two fish factories right in the middle of our new area. For two reasons. It's obviously it's quite a polluting industry, so I kind of want to centralise it in the area, so any pollution that's made from it, it gets sort of hidden by our offices that we're going to put around this area. Well, offices, and we might put some more industrial, we might put some city services, anything that sort of doesn't need to be in a main residential area. Basically, I kind of will stick some civil service, some services over here, and it's out the way. So again, not the height of realism, but we're just going to move our recycling centres over as well. I'm also going to delete these fishing harbours for now. Main reason is I want to sort of we want to unlock all the assets, so in order to do that, to speed up the process, I'm just going to replace the harbours right now with fish farms, just so we can unlock our algae farm and our seaweed farm. Again, it's not the height of realism, but I just want to speed the process along so we can actually finish this area today, hopefully. So now that we've cleared this area, it doesn't look great because the pollution is here, but we're just going to flatten out our area, and we're going to start, this is going to be our new residential area, well, one of two. We're going to have another area that's mainly residential, but this one's going to be, it's not going to be high rise, it's just going to be low rise residential. So we're just building up a grid. So yeah, we're just building up a grid, and it should be, I don't think we'll make too many changes to it once it's built, but obviously with grids you kind of want to build basic framework to begin with, and then as you're sort of finessing your builds, you end up making slight changes along the way, but we'll see how it goes. But I just want to build up a basic grid for residential area, and we'll take it from there. So the sort of semicircle curve bits came out a wee bit wonky, so we might make changes down the line, but we've got our basic framework for now anyway. And I just want to delete some of these trees so we can see what we're doing, further down the line, but that's our basic grid. So for our third grid, again, I'm just going to flatten out a wee bit of land, nothing too crazy because it's mainly flat already, and we're just going to build up, extend my grid out. Again, this might be subject to a little bit of change, but I like to get a basic grid in, and then we can make slight changes as we're actually, zoning and building later on. But just to get a rough idea of where I want my grid to go, I just like to get a basic framework in to begin with, and then, as I say, we can make small changes or bigger changes if we need it along the line. So nothing major, just extending out the grid and just putting a wee path in here instead of having a wonky road. Just a wee path in there, and that is basically worth 3 grids. Just moving that out of the way because I think we'll have that in the area, the crematorium, but I do want to have this area a continuation of our European assets. But that's worth 3 main grids built up anyway. So I do want to call one slight mulligan from my last episode, and that is this sort of junction here that we made with the double lane road coming down. I think we're going to just get rid of that. I think it's just going to create a wee bit too much traffic, and I want to sort of fix the problem, before it becomes a problem. We don't really need that main road coming down the side of our, European assets here, so I'm just going to take this road out and replace it with our single road. I don't really know what I was thinking at the time, to be honest. Maybe it was this sort of signal that was the end of this area, but I don't think it makes sense to have it here. It's just going to create a bottleneck down at the bottom end of this road here, so I'm just replacing it with this, just a normal road. And because the game's paused and we're replacing the roads here, once we zone it again, it shouldn't destroy any buildings or anything, it should just keep them in place. It's just got a smaller road now. Yeah, so just make sure I rezone everything. Just make sure I rezone everything and just replace a couple of shops in this wee corner here. And then we can redo our connection here. I think it'll mean the traffic will flow a lot easier down this road here. I'm actually just going to bring this up first and then curve it. But yeah, it made it. Oh, that's a wee bit. So let's flatten that out a wee bit if we can. But yeah, this should it should make the traffic down this area flow a lot better rather than having a stop and then just a wee bit down the road have another stop. That was the main reason why I decided to get rid of it, and hopefully that we'll see that difference once we're actually going forward here. But yeah, I just wanted to make that quick mulligan. So now I'm just now we've got our 3 areas in place, we're just going to start zoning here, and this big area in between the 3 new grids that we've made, we're just going to have a huge city park. It's not going to be littered with features or anything, it's mainly just a walkable park for, yeah, that's basically it. It's just going to be a walkable park, maybe have a couple of playgrounds in it, but I really just wanted to have a nice open area where people can walk about. It's in between 3 residential areas essentially, and the land itself is quite uneven, so it makes sense just to have a big park. So I was going to go for a big main gate, but I don't think it really suits what I'm going for. I'm really just going for this is going to be a free park. It's basically, I say, it's not going to have that many big features in anything, and it's just going to be, it's mainly just for getting some space. It's not really it shouldn't really be a tourist resort is what the long way of what I'm trying to say here. So I ended up zoning the area, and then because I put in the main fence, it's gave me another area, so I need to rezone. That's a bit annoying. One of those features of the game that's a wee bit footery, but what you're going to do. So that's our park area zoned. I'm just going to start zoning our residential area now. So it's not pretty, but it will do, and we'll just zone more sort of business industrial area as well while we're at it. Again, we can tidy them up a wee bit later on. It's just we might start zoning at certain times or simming at certain times, so I just kind of want to get the basics in, just do the basics, you know, here and there, and that's where zoning. So I might as well just do some naming while we're doing it. This area is going to be called Kima. The whole area is just basically Kima, but we're obviously need to separate in the district, so we've got Kima is our main low residential area, and we've got our office park, Kima Office Park, and then nothing too spectacular, Kima Park for sort of park area, and I haven't actually zoned area yet, but this grid up here will be Kima Heights, so yeah, we'll just zone that now while I'm in the mood for zoning. So yeah, as I said, Kima Heights, right next to our St Bob's district. So with our basic zoning in place, let's start to actually finish one of these areas, and we're going to start with the residential area. And as you can see, I'm taking out the roads. The grid's basically going to be kind of the same, it's just the curvature bit at the back, the sort of semicircle, was a wee bit wonky, so I just kind of want to redo it. You know, it's not the height of realism, but it's kind of hard to sort of plan out in this game, I think, sometimes when you're building grids. I'm just going to let it sim as well while we're building this here. I kind of want the fish, as I said, so I want to unlock the fish asset, so while I'm not making any major changes, I kind of just want to let it, you know, quietly sim in the background while I'm building up our grid here. Okay, so now our grid, I'm quite happy with the way the grid looks now. I just want to bring a wee path from our outer ring into our sort of, we'll call it our local main street, if you will, because in the main street we're going to have a elementary school, so I kind of want to make it as easily as walkable as possible for not just the 8 residents in this area, but when we actually finish our park around, you know, around the outskirts of this residential area, there will be a path that leads from the other residential area through here, so it should be a quick walk even if you're slightly further away. I kind of want to make this city as walkable as possible, so I'm just bonking a couple of paths down, and we're going to have to do a wee bit of jiggery pokery with the roads here. I want to have a crossing in the middle of this main street here, but I don't really want to have another road coming in, so I'm just upgrading half of the road. That's a wee bit out of sync, but I might fix that. Yeah, let's just fix it. Yeah, I want to have a crossing in the middle of this road here. I'm just going to move it a wee bit, but I'm going to try and make the crossing at a slightly different place. So I'm going to have to delete the path I just put in. Yeah, I'm just going to upgrade this road. And then when we delete this, it should be in, like, yeah, there you go, it's in line with our path. And then we can re-add in our other path. It's so that if you're coming from the opposite side of the residential area, or whatever side you come from the residential area, you know, you can cross in the middle of this sort of main street here. And I'm just going to change it to the tree in the middle of the road rather than down both sides. So as I said, I'm going to bonk down an elementary school, the European style, and now we're just going to start some zoning, residential zoning around the side. I've put European suburbia for now. I mean, I might change it back to default, I'm not too sure yet, but we're just going to zone here. So I just changed all the roads to the one with the tree in the middle, and just adding a clinic here. So I'm just going to convert all the rows to the, you know, to use a linden tree instead of the standard tree. I don't really like the standard tree. Nice. And once the pollution clears up, you know, that'll look a million times better. So I just changed it to European Suburbia, but I'm going to just use the default, I think, for this area. If it doesn't look too great, and you know, we can always change it down the line, but I think we're just going to go for the default here. We're just going to start, but we're just going to run the simulation while we're finishing our zoning here. So I'm just going to pause it while we start our park area here. I would like to keep on, obviously, simulating and let that fill in, but for now, while I'm just starting this park area here, I just kind of want to pause it, just in case something happens. So I'm just going to bung down quite a lot of exits and entryways into this park, because as I said, I mainly just want this park to be like more of a glorified dog park than an actual park, you know, that tourists want to visit. I just want to bonk down a few park gates so that there's lots of places where you can get in and out of it. It is quite a large area as well. So I'm just going to flatten out a small area here because I want to put down, as I said, a playground here. I'm only going to have maybe 2 at most in this whole park. And I think it's an asset that just suits being on flatter ground. So I just want to have a wee plateau where we can put, you know, a playground here. There's going to be a lot of tinkering with the landscaping and the paths, just because it's on quite hilly terrain. That we'll be making sort of changes here or there. Obviously it will depend on how things look as well. Obviously it's I don't mind a bit of lumpies and bumpies, but when it comes to our paths, I kind of want them to be, you know, walkable. I don't want them to be, you know, people try to walk up a cliff. I mean, I know in the game they'll still walk up it anyway, but obviously realistically looking, it doesn't look that great. So we're just going to bonk down some paths. So these paths are going to be a bit of a nightmare because some of the terrain around the sides are quite steep, so we might have to do them and redo them a couple of times sometimes just to make them look, you know, perfect. Like I here, this is quite a steep climb, so I'm just going to flatten out a wee bit to make it a wee bit easier for our paths to go in. Again, we can always tidy up and do a wee bit more terraforming once the paths are down. As I say, we're just going to keep terraforming as we go. Try and keep it as, like, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Again, I don't mind a wee bit, but if it's a wee bit too much, it can be a bit of an eyesore. So as you can see, I've tried to squeeze in one more gate, but it's just too steep a climb. Obviously I'm going to do a bit of jiggery pokering about here, but it just doesn't, there's just not enough space for us to get another gate in there, so I'm just going to be tinkering here for a wee bit, and then I think it's just a bit of a lost cause, this one, and we're just going to delete it and have a longer path. Yeah, it's too much. I don't think we can get another gate in here realistically. And I'm starting to get annoyed, so I might just take a break from the the paths right now. And yeah, speaking of fences, yeah, I might as well start that. Just get some of that out of the way while we're starting to sim here. The fences won't be nearly as annoying as the paths. The paths can be quite footy and annoying. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of this fence is going to be footy and annoying as well with all the grid lines we've got going on, but Yeah, the paths were really annoying, just because it's quite a steep hill. I didn't realise they made it so steep, but you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. So here we go, take two. I mean, it's just a bit of an awkward bit of land to sort of build a path on, and then I think once we, you know, get the lumpies and bumpies out a wee bit here, it doesn't look too bad. I can live with it. Maybe, as I say, we can always revisit it if it's horrific looking, but that'll do for now. So in this corner here, I don't want to just have a basic, you know, a square corner for our park, so I'm going to stick in another unique asset, and that is the tax office. I think it fits with our older style buildings around this area, and I think it looks quite good, and it's not too big, you know, and it means we can have a couple of shops and a crematorium here in the corner here. As I said, I didn't want to just have a 90 degrees angle corner for the edge of our park here, so it'd be good to have a couple of, like a shop or two, you know, in the tax office. As I said, I do think it suits the area quite well, and it's actually only 2 blocks away from, you know, our government offices and stuff, so it kind of, as I said, it suits the area quite well, I think. So here I am trying to get this fence in. It's a bit awkward, just there's grid lines all over the place now because of the, you know, the unique nature of the buildings round about it and the path round about it. But yeah, I just want to come off at an angle, and as I say, we can fit in a couple of shops. Nothing major, just a couple of, as I say, it's good to have the odd, you know, low density shops here or there sprinkled within your build, and I think that's quite, you know, in real life that's quite a, you know, it's quite a typical thing to have. So now we've started that wee corner there, I want to stick another unique building in, and that was, I wanted to have a hotel in the area. The only problem was the sort of tourist you know, zoning types, they don't really have that many, you know, low-rise hotels. They're all quite big skyscrapers, and I didn't really want that, so I've went for this hotel from the Japanese, I think it's a Japanese asset pack that we got, and I think it suits, in terms of height anyway, it suits the area, and you know, I think it looks not bad once it's stuff zones around it as well, so we've went for that. To say, I wanted to have a hotel in the area because I think it, not that it's a big tourist area, but it's right in the corner of you know, our commercial district. We do have a lot of landmarks around, so you know, as I say, I don't want a big tourist area. I just wanted a hotel here, and I think it suits the area quite well. So I've just stuck a fence down, you know, the side of our road there to fence it off, and I'm going to stick another park fence at the back here, you know, if the grid lines and the wonkiness lets me do it. So I'm just going to continue our fence round the side of our area here. And again, it's been a bit footery just between the grid lines and the shape of the grid. It's just going to be a bit of annoying, a bit of a nuisance to try and put this fence in here. Again, I don't know, maybe if you've got mods and stuff it's not quite as footery, but I'm just going to bonk down another park gate here and extend our fence down, and I think we're going to bring this fence up. We're going to bring this fence up to the edge of our railway and bring this along to meet our other fence, and that is going to basically be the mark of that's going to be the side of our park basically. slash it's protection for, you know, people don't just jump on the railway line. So it's a bit bare, obviously, and obviously the grids haven't been zoned in yet, so obviously we need to do a bit of landscaping and tinkering and stuff, but that's basically going to be the edge of our park. And we're going to bring our path round, you know, to meet the top of our park here. It's a bit of a, you know, it's a bit of a climb in terms of steepness, but there's obviously a bit of landscaping to be done to make it look a bit nice and have the path be quite a smooth path. But again, once it's all in place, I think it looks good in the end. So on this other wee corner, I just want to bonk down another park gate. And yeah, I've put 2 down there, but I'm going to delete this one. So I'm going to create this is a temporary path. I want to put down one of the, you know, the fountain asset here. As I say, I don't want this part to be littered with features, but I think because this is a flat area already, and it's in between, you know, a couple of districts, I just want to have a feature, you know. As I say, I don't want it littered with features. But just, yeah, a wee feature here. So I've put paths all around it for now, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it, to be honest. I might get rid of a couple of them. But, you know, as I say, I do like to plonk stuff down and then see how it looks, and then we can always make changes. But yeah, I want to try and fit another gate in here. As I say, I want this to be just people walking left, right and centre through it. As I say, it's not going to be littered with features by the time we finish, but as I say, I've got another gate there. I basically wanted to have a gate, you know, near pretty much every road junction, just so there's plenty of access and people can walk from all different directions. I basically wanted to make it as accessible as possible. So again, to continue our sort of connectivity through this park here, I'm going to bring a path all the way down from there, from the top area, down to our sort of, we'll call it the middle of the park, the meat of our park. And I think because it's fairly central, I want to have my second and most likely final playground. As I say, I don't want too many features in this park, but I do think it's in between 2 residential areas. I do kind of want to have, you know, some sort of place for, you know, the children of each area to come to. So just a climbing frame playground area, and it's fairly central. So yeah, just make another connection. And it's starting to come together, you know. It's obviously, there's got a bit of work to go, bit of tinkering here and there to do, but you know, it's come together. So as I said, I didn't want to pass all the way around, so we're just going to make a slight change here. You know, I want paths down sides of it, but I didn't think it needed all 4 sides to be covered in paths. So just doing a wee bit of tinkering. As I say, I want to try and avoid as much straight paths as possible, but I think that looks quite good. It's got a bit of connectivity about it as well, but it's a nice central place, flat place to put it. And it's, you know, it's not near, as I say, I don't want too many features, and it's quite spread apart from the other features that we have so far. So I'm just moving the water tower into the corner of the park as well. I don't know if that's going to be the final resting place for it, but for now it suits more being in the park area, I think, than it does in the sort of key area. I'm calling the key area, the waterfront area. So again, I'm just going to start a wee bit of fencing here or there. I say it's going to, for parts of this park it's going to be an absolute nightmare because we just have grid lines all over the place, just between the nature of the curvature of so many of the roads and the paths. There's just going to be grid lines all over the place. But I do think once it starts to go in, and the more we finish it, the better it looks. Obviously, it's just very footery and time consuming. So I'm just finishing off some more fence here. So I'm just sticking one last gate in. I think this might be the last one. I think most of the other areas we've got enough gates in. So one last gate, and we're just going to fence this off here. This is a bit of an awkward one as well, this bit. So it's starting to look a bit finished now, the park area anyway. There's obviously a wee bit more paths to be done, connections to be made, but yeah, so I'm just making a few connections. As I say, I'm trying to avoid as many straight areas as possible and make it like a nice place to come and walk your dog, or obviously I want connectivity as well. I don't want it to just be purely aesthetic. I want it to be a place where people are walking through from, we've got our office park here, and we've got 2 residential areas, and we've got a school on one of them. I do want it a place where people can walk through, as they're going to and from places, and they don't necessarily have to just be, walking their dog or just wanting to get out of the house. I do want it to be a place that people can walk through from necessity, not just for leisure. So now that most of the paths are down, I want to stick some rock features in, and I want to make it look as if the paths were built around them and the park was sort of built for them, because it was much easier to have this place, because it was hilly terrain, a hilly rocky terrain. We'll just make this a park rather than develop it into residential or whatever. So that's the kind of area I'm going for, and we're just going to sprinkle some rocks in between our sort of path zones here, if you will, and see how that looks. Yeah, I just want to redo this wee bit here. I was a wee bit too straight beforehand, so I do want to sort of curve it, a wee bit. We could have maybe curved it round the rock more than anything, but I just don't want it to be straight. It doesn't look great when your paths are that straight, especially in a park that's really, it's got quite a lot of bumpy terrain, and I just want to sort of make the paths a bit more curvature and got a bit more life about them rather than just straight paths. So I think that looks a little better. Obviously we can tinker down the road if we're ever wanting to do anything more with this area, but I think that looks quite good. Now I want to focus on the Keema Heights area for a wee bit. I'm going to make some changes. I don't like the back of this grid here, the curvature back of the grid, so I'm going to change it and make it more grid-like, continuing on from our European assets. And yeah, as I say, I just want to make a slight change, nothing major, just enough to keep our European assets going in a natural looking way. So now that I've got a grid I'm happy with, I'm just going to have to, tinker, fix the things that I broke, putting in a new gate, and fixing more fence at the back here. So things get a bit footery sometimes with these grid lines and whatnot, but yeah, just continue our fence all the way around our park. Obviously fixing this wee gate here as well. So as I said, no major changes. I do like to tinker now and again when I've done something I don't quite like, and I think the area suits it better now without the curved, the curved ending of that sort of grid there. So yeah, we're just replacing our fences and our gates, and we can actually start zoning this area now. So first of all, I'm just going to change all the roads again to the one with the tree in the middle. I think that suits what I'm looking for more than the one with the roads, the trees down either side. I think for the smaller roads, I prefer the trees down the middle rather than down either side. Now that we've got our roads in place, I'm just going to change the tree again to Young London's for the middle of the road. Yeah, and as I say, I'm just continuing on more grid from our European assets, our sort of government district, and we're just going to have another row of offices on the main road just to sort of block the noise. And obviously we're right next to our hotel, so we don't really want residential right next to our hotel. And then for the next 4 blocks we're just going to put in some residential. So again, I want to speed the process along of unlocking more fishing assets, so I'm just bunked down a few more of the fish farms for now. I mean, as I said, they will be temporary, and I just want to sort of get more fishing assets unlocked so we can finish this area today, hopefully. I'm also going to zone some offices here. I don't know how much this is going to be staying with it. I don't know. It's a bit crammed in once they're all zoned in, so I don't know if I'll keep all the offices, but I just thought I would see how it looked while we're simulating here, and then we can, as I say, we can always revisit it. But I wanted to mostly unlock our fishing assets, see how it looks over here with the offices, and then we can always tinker with the changes. The residential areas will be filling in as we're simming here as well, and as you can see, we're just about to hit our 800,000 for our algae farm. So now that we have our algae farm, I'm just going to replace all the fish farms with the algae farm. Again, these are temporary, we're just unlocking the assets, so we're kind of cheesing the game, to be honest. But since we can't place what we want to begin with, we have to unlock the assets. I'm just wanting to speed the process along, and we're just going to replace all our fish farms with the algae farms. Reason being is the algae produces far more raw materials than our fish farms, so we should be able to reach our seaweed farm far quicker. But as I said, most of these will be temporary. We'll probably only keep maybe 1, maybe 2 at most of the algae farms, but that's just what we're doing here, in case you're wondering. So it's about time we put down some services over here as well. We've got a clinic on this main road, but I'm just going to stick a small police station and a small fire station, both for the European assets. I think they suit the area as well. I think we'll go for them, and we're just going to stick one at either corner of this sort of main road here. So I'm just going to extend this area. I forgot to extend it, and we're going to change the district style for the shops here. I don't really like the standard shops. I think I'm going to go for the wall to wall, have it a wee bit more modernised, look as if it's been the waterfront's been rejuvenated a wee bit, and have wall to wall shops here. So these shops will be going while we simulate. While we're simuling this here, we're just going to do a wee bit of treeing around the edges, try and block the railway line in the main road here with some trees. It's a bit of sound buffering, but just a bit of extra landscaping. So a mixture between oak and more conifers. And at the edge of this park here, I just want to put a line of trees in, I mean, we might, it's a wee bit much, we might get rid of some of the trees, but yeah, as I say, the landscaping can be done over time. We're just plonking down some random here or there, but we can always revisit them and, you know, change them as time goes on. So again, down the side of our sort of industrial park, obviously still sort of deciding what we're going to put in this park in terms of, is it industry, offices or whatever, but just going to fence it off. Again, it's a bit annoying with the grid lines and the whatnot, but once it's in place, you know, it looks quite neat. And then obviously just adding some more extra layer of landscaping around the side, sort of let people know that this is this sort of a marked off area, you know. And again, with in terms of the landscape and the treeing, we'll come by and visit it now and again and, you know, try and tidy it up, but I think it looks quite good. So while we're doing a bit of landscaping there, you know, as you can see, our seaweed farm is getting increasingly closer to unlocking, and then once we unlock it, we can actually do, you know, what we want with this area. So we're going to take out our temporary algae farms. We don't need them anymore. As I said, I just wanted to unlock all the assets today. So yeah, I'm just going to have 5 assets. I'm going to have 1 normal fish farm, I'm going to have 1 algae farm, 1 seaweed farm, and we're going to have 2 fishing harbours. So I'm just deleting the roads because I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to place these assets. I think for our seaweed farm, we're going to stick it in the middle here, and at either side of that we're going to have one of our fishing harbours, I think. Yeah, fishing harbour either side, and at this far side I think I'm going to have the fish farm at this side. I was going to have maybe the algae farm, but I think the fish farm fits in better. You know, it's a smaller asset, and I kind of want to curve this road into, you know, our main road. So I think the algae farm is just a wee bit too big an asset. Yeah, as you can see, it's a slightly smaller asset, the fish farm, so I think the curved road into the main road will be a wee bit easier on the eye. So, and then at the far right here, we're just going to stick in our algae farm. Again, I think that the curved road into our main district here will look a wee bit better because of that. And we're just filling in these wee road bits as well, so we've got a clear road along this waterfront here. So as I say, just a curved road from our fish farm into our sort of main road, and I think that looks quite neat and tidy, you know. So now that we've actually replaced our fishing harbours, we're obviously need to fix our fishing lines because they're a wee bit wonky from where we had them beforehand. I didn't delete the full thing just so we didn't have to do the full things again. Again, they're not perfect, but I'm really just wanting some life on the water, so I'm not really looking for, you know, the most proficient of lines or anything. I just want them to be on the water and make it look as if, you know, our waterfront is a busy area. So I'm just fixing the lines here, and that should be us. So now that our fishing assets are in place, I quite like the look of them. I don't like the look of the office park, to be honest. I think I'm going to make changes there, and I do like the look of these wall-to-wall shops that we've got going along our main road here. So we're just going to tidy up the waterfront, and I think I'm going to have paths from our main road that lead on to our sort of quay wall here that people can walk around, you know, the waterfront if they want. So we've managed to squeeze in a path there. We can get another one in here quite easily, I think. And so I want the path, you know, to terminate at the end here. We don't really want people to walk further down onto our fishing assets, so we'll have a nice termination there. And we'll have one more at the edge of our sort of zoned area at the moment. Going forward, you know, to our left there, I don't know how far along this the waterfront will make this walkable waterfront, but for now obviously we just want to finish this area, so I want to have a path at the back as well of these shops. Sort of to make it like a blocker, if you will, between our shop area and our walking area where people can walk by. So they've got plenty of options and space to walk around in. I do, however, I want to fence off the sort of shopping area, just so that people don't just walk into the back of the shops and stuff, and it's kind of it's part of their assets, if you will, and the waterfront stays as a public zone. So I'm just going to fence off this area here. Thankfully it's mostly straight, so I don't have to do too much in terms of the fence here. Cities come alive in this game and the more you detail, so like a wee fence here I think makes all the difference. I'm bringing the fence all the way along to the edge, and just so we can cancel the zoning areas at the edge of this road here, and to properly fence off the area, and we're going to bring that as close to our fire station as we can. And I think that looks quite neat and tidy. It'd be nice if the fences match, but I suppose we don't live in a perfect world, do we? And now that we've fenced off that area, I do just want to do a wee bit of landscaping, just a wee bit of trees to further block off these shops and give a level of privacy to them at the back of them. So a few oak trees, a few chestnut trees. I quite like that. Say again, the chestnut tree is probably my favourite tree in the game at the moment. And just have a line all the way along. I think that's quite nice. I mean, as I say, further along, in terms of expanding this waterfront area to our left, I don't know how much we'll go, but so let's address this office park. I'm not really happy with it, so I'm going to replace some of the offices. I also want it to be quite a low, I don't really want these tall 10-storey office buildings, so I want to replace them. So as you've seen, I just bonked down some more recycling centres. We might get rid of them, I don't know. As I say, I do like to tinker here or there, so we'll see. I also want to put down some warehouses over here. And the main reason is, with the recycling centres, they recycle, materials, so we can actually fill these up without actually having any zoned industry, which is a bit weird. So I'm just going to change them to, the three type of things that we get from recycling centres, which is ore products, oil products, and forestry products. And for now we're just going to leave them balanced and see what they do. Again, we might revisit it, we'll see. So yeah, as I said, I didn't like, there's too much going on here, there's too many offices, some of the buildings are too tall. I want to try and fix some of that, so we're just going to take all these out. It's not the height of realism, I know, but I just didn't like the way it was panning out there. And what I want to do is I want to separate these blocks into sort of smaller plots for our offices, and because they're smaller blocks, they should produce smaller buildings, and I think it makes it look a lot less busy and a lot less condensed. It's a bit more spread out. So I'm going to zone all office for now. We might make, as I say, a couple of changes here or there, but I'm just taking out and replacing all the offices and putting in these smaller blocks. So not all the blocks are the same size, so we're going to have some weird shapes in some of them and different shapes and sizes, which is a good thing, So I'm just repeating this for all our blocks here. Obviously we've got a couple of curved areas which we'll obviously have to do something different for them, but for the most part I just want to keep to a similar sort of grid style for our paths and our zoning. So for the corner bits I do want to sort of mix up a wee bit. Because we've got a couple of buildings at the edge there, so we're just have to do something a wee bit different, but nothing too drastic, you know. Again, it's the same idea, we just want to separate them into smaller plots and smaller buildings. And there we have it. Again, we're just going to fill all these in with offices for now. And if any get too big, we might, again, you know, everything's subject to change. So talking of change, yeah, as I said, I do want to fit in the odd, you know, service, the odd service building, so we can fit in a tax office into one of these squares quite well, I think. So that's what I've just done there. I put a wee taxi office, and I think it'll fit in quite nicely with the area, and obviously smaller plots. So before we start simulating, I just want to update this road to the one with the tree in the middle. It doesn't stop the parking, but I don't know if I mind that, to be honest. We might change it to a 3-lane eventually if the parking, you know, makes it a wee bit too much. But and the usual, we're just going to change the tree. This time I think we're going to go for the sugar maple. Because it's a bigger road, I think the sugar maple suits the bigger roads a bit better than the Londons. And yeah, just updating all of them all the way around. I think once it looks a bit more complete when you've got the roads with the trees in the middle, and I think that looks a bit better. So we're nearly ready to start simulating again. I just want to have a look at the power situation. I want to get rid of all our temporary power lines basically, and you know, the power should be able to jump across the water now in the border. It's just a case of when everything starts, so we started simulating, it's just a case of, well, something's not jumping there. It looks as if it's connected, but for some reason it is not jumping to that area, so maybe it's just because the offices haven't started zoning yet, but so what we might do, we could always make the power jump through the park area by having a couple of gazebos or something. As I said, I didn't really want to put that many features into the park, but if it means we can jump the power for now, we could always just maybe get rid of them if it's a wee bit too much in the end. But I think we'll do that. I think we'll put a couple of gazebos in, and hopefully the power will jump between our two residential areas. So I want to put it in flat areas because the gazebo obviously doesn't look great when it's not in a flat area, so that kind of rules up that hill there. So we'll try one up here, and you know, we'll put one on the other side of this stone here, maybe in this corner here actually. Yeah, how does that look? Well, it's almost jumped, so we might have to stick another one in. And yeah, we'll stick one here. So that's jumped to that gate, so once that office fills in, that should jump, but I will want to make a sort of safety net and make sure it's connected. Once we actually grow the city, it shouldn't be a problem, but for now, if I'm going to focus on different areas of the city, I just want this area to be self-sufficient for now. So that's made the jump, and once all that zoned in, that should be okay. So we'll start simulating here and we'll see how it goes. And there we go, the power's jumped, so once that should be okay. We should be okay from now on. We'll obviously just have to keep an eye on it because obviously we don't want our power to, you know, run out. So we'll just, while we're letting it sim and everything's filling a wee bit, we'll just look at our traffic signals for this road here. Obviously I don't really want any traffic stops except from you know, when a main road meets a main road. So all these single streets are just getting stop signs. All the single streets are getting stop signs, and the main road, the traffic on the main road, you know, can free flow without any sort of, you know, stopping and starting. And that's us. So I've let it sim for a while, and this is kind of the final result. We're still sort of simulating, but we're just on the first, it's only simulating at 1 speed, so it's not too fast. But yeah, I'll give you a wee tour of what we've done, and now that it's filled in, it looks a lot better. There's our elementary school in the middle of our new residential district. I think that came together quite well. And we've got our park surrounding our sort of 3 new main districts, and as you can see, I'm just, every now and again, I'm deleting and adding a few things, and this is our office district. The warehouses, I've put them to empty for now, because they filled up quite quickly with the recycling, and it was importing some stuff as well. I don't really want to import it, I just wanted a place for the recycling stuff to go. But I think that's quite nice as well, with the offices spread out more, and they're obviously lower. You know, they're only a few stories instead of the, you know, the 10, 12 story buildings we were getting beforehand. And up here we've got our tax office in the corner as well, just at the edge of our park. And yeah, I think that's came together quite nice. The high rise, the continuation of the European district as well has looked quite good, you know, it kind of suits, it's fitted in nicely, and with the park in between all the areas, I think it's came together really nicely. There's still maybe a wee bit of tinkering that needs to be done, but this it's been a long episode to sort of plan, record, and obviously edit. So we're going to leave it here. But yeah, I hope you like this build. We'll just do a wee tour as we're going out here, and obviously our fishing industry as well is sort of finished now with our 5 assets. And I think it's came together quite well. So you know, if you like this episode, obviously please give a like and subscribe if you like the build, and if you want to see where the city grows from here. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.